Woo.
Fuego.
It's the shift, baby. Peace. You are now tuned in to the City Sultan podcast, where our purpose is cultivating leaders and our focus is spirituality, the divine masculine, and leadership. In today's episode, we'll be discussing thriving in the Aquarian shift. I am Bliss.
I'm Emerald Stone, the Walking Crystal.
I am Blue Lotus, triple threes, emphasis on the threes, eternally.
I'm King Ra. Bless, love.
All right, y'all. City Sultan. What's going on, y'all? How y'all feeling?
Yeah.
How y'all feeling? City salute, y'all.
Hey,
Y'all
City
face
salute.
man.
day, we forming like Voltron, baby.
That's
The
it.
four
Locked in.
You already know.
quadrants, you know that.
So the Aquarian shift, right?
Mm.
Thriving in the Aquarian shift. What a wonderful topic, because honestly, I think everybody's feeling this one. Like,
Yeah.
this ain't even a secret.
Real
I
talk.
don't care who you are, what your background is, what you believe in. There's something strange going on in the best way, but something's going on.
Yeah.
So, today we're here to just talk about it and just kind of discuss it because, I'm gonna be honest, it's been a little rough on me. Like, personally, like, it's been a lot of changes really, really quick, and just keeping up with this new activation is like, you know what I mean? You got to be present with it. You got to be persistent with it. You know what I mean? Because it's the transformation. So,
Yes.
we're gonna get into a few questions here. But we're gonna start off with what is your perception of the Aquarian shifts? But maybe even before that, we can get into the question of even before that, we can get into the question of what is your perception of the Aquarian shift? And I would like to ask you, City Ra, our Aquarian brother.
You know, and before we actually get into that, I just want to speak about what you were saying before we get into the Aquarian. Well, actually, you know what? You're exactly right. My perception of the Aquarian shift is that we're in a time right now where the energy shift from 2012 is now coalescing into 2020. And the indigo children are maturing into their energy fields and becoming indigo adults. You know what I mean? So now we're taking our place in the authoritative space of sovereignty and becoming the leaders of the next indigo children coming up, and then also of the indigo adults and the regular non-aware adults who are coming into themselves as well. And so this is what's happening on this level of reality, this level plane. So we're experiencing this kind of stress because we're being made to expand ourselves. So we're not only feeling that on a physical space, we're feeling that in a mental and emotional space as well. But then also on an astrological and a celestial tip, the planets are aligning themselves. Stars are aligning in different ways. And we're coming into an age of, when we say we're coming to an age of the Aquarius, we're coming into the age of awareness. It's just like expanded awareness. Everything is in acceleration right now. You know what I mean? And so it's very taxing. It's very taxing, but it's leading to a beautiful crystallis of becoming, and then becoming being.
That's beautifully stated, brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, what about you, City Bliss? What's your perspective on this?
Yeah. Like City Ra said, it's definitely a new space of awareness that we're in. That's what the shift is really. Everyone's becoming more aware of reality right now. They call this year 2020, 2020 vision. Everybody's vision is crystal clear now. We're seeing right through the veil of, what we thought was reality. And everyone's just tapping into parts of themselves that they weren't even aware of. You know, we all, like you said, we all feel it. You know, we all feel the shift that is taking place, and mostly it's just an expansion of our awareness from a deeper level. And now we have the ability to come together in a better way. You know, the opportunities there for us to come together to form like more community, I would say. That's what this shift is about. Clarity on community and the realization of oneness, you know, the illusion of separation is being cut. Like, you know, it's just wiped away, you know. So yeah, just the awareness of that and our powers, you know, that's what this time is about.
That's very well stated, brother. And you know, when you're dealing with the age of Aquarius too, you're dealing with a new transformation of because it's going from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. So everything that we believed at one point is totally like out the window. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like everything that you thought you were. This is why this solstice is very important, because there's this, you going from a dead state where the sun, you know, it died for 3 days. I mean, not for 3 days. The sun has died, and now it took 3 days, and now it's rising. So this is where the solstice comes in. That solstice point where it's re-inviting and rebirthing, but during the process of the rebirth, the sun went somewhere. So therefore, it got some sort of new information, new light codes to give to us. And that's why I told everybody, I was like, yo, make sure that in this solstice, you get that sun. You got 3 days to get some nice, good, new, fresh sun. Now, make sure you get them codes. Even the food that you eat that was nourished by this sunlight right here, if you just so happen to get some of that food, or if you're a farmer or one of those, you're gonna be lit. I ain't gonna be something special in there, you know. So I'm definitely like
Light
looking
is
forward
nature.
to the expansion. How about you, City Blue? What's your perspective on this all?
Yo, Blue, you
You
muted
muted.
you muted my guy.
Oh shit, I even know this part of me, part of itself. This whole time I'm thinking y'all can hear me. Yeah, before I even touch on that, I just want to further elaborate. Even today, I was with my coworker on my lunch break, and we was like, yo, I'm like, yo, the sun is out. Yo, let's just stand here real quick for like 10 minutes, hold space, and just receive the solar energy, the divine masculine yang energy. You know what I'm saying? Because especially living on the East Coast in New York City, we get little to no sunlight, especially during the winter time. You know what I'm saying? So any little clear, sunny day, I feel we really need to capitalize and utilize and take full advantage of.
Yes.
For
It was
real.
hit today,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, yes it was. Yes, it was. I was decalcifying that pineal gland, baby. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, City M, to answer your question, with the Aquarian shift, I feel like there's definitely more interconnectedness amongst humanity, and people are becoming more you could say humanitarians. There's more humanitarianisms
Yeah.
happening, if
Yes.
you will.
Do you?
So even with this pandemic and everything else that's going on, there's the duality of the polarity once again, to where even though it's negative, the positive, I guess you could say connotation and effect is that we're coming together as one, because we're seeing, hey, listen, I'm human, you're being affected by COVID, I'm being affected by COVID, I can't fly, you can't travel, I can't travel. So there's a lot of little subtle like reminders, if you ask me, to show people like, yo, even if you in China, if you in Switzerland, if you in Hawaii, if you in Australia, Antarctica, no matter where you are on this planet, like everyone's being affected by this in some way, shape, and or form. You know, so with this Aquarian shift, I feel that we're becoming more aware of ourselves, one, and how actually connected we are, even though we could be physically distant from a geographical perspective, but we're still connected because we're still being able to experience what one is experienced from a far distance. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
pertaining that to like the rules and regulations of what's going on right now. But
Mm.
so in the nutshell, definitely more interconnectedness, we're starting to come together more as one. We're starting to see, you know, the basically the veil is lifting, if you will,
Yeah.
just from what I'm seeing from my observant perspective.
Yes.
You know,
And
and Blue,
I love
what I
that
love
both of
about what you said is that, you know, we're being affected in subtle ways and not so subtle ways. Because the reason I just left right now was to get something, right? And this is what I got, because this is how the whole world looks right now. This is not subtle.
Yeah, yeah.
When you go outside, this is how the whole world looks right now.
for our
This is not
listeners, he just put
subtle.
on a mask. He just
This is not a subtle way that the whole world. That's not subtle. Everybody feels that. You know what I mean?
That's correct.
And we're at a time now where you see, okay, because based on the pandemic, everybody had to stay inside. A lot of the population had to stay inside, so they had to go within themselves. They had to go inside. They could not escape from their own realities. They could not escape from their own inner demons and their own projections and their own paradigms and their own assumptions. They literally had to go and sit down and actually deal with that and actually do the shadow work. So they started looking for guides, and the guides were the people who already did the shadow work and already had awakened, and now they had to step into themselves. We had to step into ourselves, because now we become the gods or guides of this time, because we know how to do the internal work, you know. And so in that space, that has happened, and now that energy, all that emotional energy and motion energy going into the atmosphere, and propelled also by what's going on astrologically, has created this type of momentum where manifestations are happening at an ultra accelerated rate. You know what I mean? And it's like, yo, can you keep up? You know, that we're in a place right now. Can you keep up?
I also think that it has to do part of City Blue.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I also think that it has to do, because you said that a lot of manifestations are going on. Well, you know, truth is, you know, to your point, that manifestations really, they've been going on already. It's just people are becoming more aware of what they have been manifesting. And I love that City Blue and City Bliss had mentioned the concept of these veils lifting, and I think you did too, City Raw, of these veils lifting, because like it's for some reason I noticed that in this universe, every time there's a shift, every time something new's happening, people are always saying like, yo, we're becoming more aware, we're becoming more conscious during this shift. Every single shift has a bit of awareness to it, or something, because that's all this universe is about, because it's literally about source or God becoming more aware of itself, coming to know itself constantly. That's been the universal conversation. No matter what we're speaking about, it's just always something new just popping up, and then something new, and there's something new about the collective. But this shift specifically, the Aquarian shift, this is they've been, you know, my wife Bashira, she was saying that in the 60s they had a song called the Aquarian Age. She said, and she called her mother the other day. It was like the 60s to 70s. It was like some sort of trippy hippie song type, if I'm not mistaken. And she said, oh, it's here now? The older lady, she's like, it's here now? She said, you know, we've been singing about that for years. So even the older generation was singing for it to come in, as they were, you know, they were noticing. So now that we're actually in it fully, that actually leads me to my next question, that we have here. So what is your perspective? Because now we've been seeing that, like, in this Aquarian ship, people all over the internet, they're talking about superpowers, right? They're talking about, like, yo, we're gonna gain some superpowers, and we're gonna gain this and that. So, and I noticed specifically it's the Black community specifically that has been wilding online. Like, we have been like, yo, listen, I heard a couple people, like, people like, yo, what's going on? What's happening? I'm like, yo, don't worry, just be very, very scared. Like, with some of my other friends, I'm like, but I'm joking with them. I'm like, yo, but somebody asked me what exactly is happening on Aquarian shift, and I told them that if I'm remembering correctly, I said that, all oppressed energies will rise.
Indeed. And bless you, City Rock. And real quick, City M, I just wanted to pedal back and further elaborate with City Ra how you added your value to what I was saying. And I appreciate you complimenting that space from an earthly, godly perspective. You see how you mentioned the indigo violet children. You know, I was keeping it more on the earthly plane, but you brought it to the higher, which is the balance, which is as above, so below as above, as within, so without, as within. But from that perspective of us being the indigo children and us going through the trials and tribulations that we have to go through in this human experience, and us being aware of what's going on, and then basically leading by example as well for the ones that are still in their process of awakening, if you will, because we're all awakening at different levels and different factors, if you will. But I just appreciate how you added that value to the conversation. I just wanted to tap in on that.
He the king of value.
Yes, indeed.
He the king
Yes,
of value.
indeed.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Now
indeed.
we other people calling him king of value. He ain't even come up with it. That's how you know.
That's a fact.
So so back to the question though, what
So
is your perspective on gaining superpowers from the conjunction?
so for me, I feel like when somebody asked me this question earlier, and I said that I don't feel like I gained any superpowers. I feel like the superpowers I already had were augmented, you know, and that the superpowers were actually internal attributes like discernment, and confidence and intelligence and accountability and direction and observation. I feel like these all were augmented within me, but then what also came with that was a stage of metamorphosis where my physical being actually began to um, go through the rigors of change, of rapid change. You know what I mean? Like especially when you're thinking about where I gave the example earlier of a werewolf, coming into his change during the full moon, and the full moon comes out, and all of a sudden his bones are breaking. He's and, and he's going and fur is coming along his body and he's making this whole metamorphoses to come into his full being, his full self. But you're watching it, and you're like, yo, that is a painful ass process. Do I really do I really want that? Like, do I really want my superpowers? And you have to realize that, once you gain your superpowers, you are going to be using them for good. So you invite the pain. You invite that that rapid metamorphoses because you know that it will put you in a place where you can give more, you can raise awareness, and that you can actually aid other people who are also going through that same stage of rapid growth and pain as they metamorphosize into their full beings as well.
You know, in Islam, pain is purification. It's a form of purification. So even, in order for you to actually, be molded into that which you were hoping to be molded into, then, you have to shed that skin. And, sometimes it's not easy, but it really just depends on your level of attachment to the last skin. The more you attach to that skin and the more the harder it is on you, the harder it's going to be when it's time for it to be ripped away. But, if we are dedicated to the process and dedicated to our purpose in life, then I think that it'll be easier for us every time when the shifts do come.
Yo, I just wanted to further elaborate and add value on to what King Ra said as far as basically us, evolving, and not only us evolving as human beings, but also as spiritual beings as well. Like, I just feel like this entire shift is basically having everyone awaken and everyone aware. And even with the superpowers, I feel that it's just the natural God-given talents. Like, you have people that are naturally born conversationalists, like they have the gift of gab. So they have no problem just striking up a conversation with someone like, hey, how you doing? How's everything? Oh. So to just conjunct and add on to what he was saying, I just feel that the superpowers is already within you. Just take this time to do more soul searching, if you will, and take this time to go more within yourself and see what natural God-given talents and abilities you already have at your disposal that you probably could be overlooking. You know, maybe you're a good painter, maybe you're a good dancer, a singer, songwriter. You know, it's endless. It's endless possibilities. But I'd say the superpowers is already something that people already have within. They just have to take the time to go into solitude to do more self-discovery. And then when they're ready, when they feel comfortable within themselves, they present it onto the world.
I love that you said. I love that you said solitude, because when I hear solitude, I think of soul fortitude.
That's powerful, and I like that. I like that you mentioned that it's already in you, because everything that you're ever going to experience is already in you. This whole world is predicated upon your experience of it personally. So I think that when people say we're getting superpowers, what they're really saying is that I'm going to come to a realization of that which is already there. The realization is all that this is about. This awareness, this consciousness. That's all this life is about. Like it's just about realizing your power more, becoming more conscious of that which is already there. You have everything at your disposal, but do you know that? Well, that's what we're on the journey of getting revealed for. So, you know,
Relation.
Yeah, I feel like this is a time of great DNA activation, with these new alignments, and like you would say, with the sun hitting a different way, all that information that's coming through that light, it's definitely activating things within our DNA that we might not have been aware of, so it's, like you said, like all of you said, it's already there. And as well as things that, are really just our natural gifts that we've all had. Like I feel like there's also like very supernatural things, like a lot of X-Men type thing, that's happening. There are a lot of mutants out here, man, like quote unquote, but yeah, it's like none of that really matters, but in a sense it's just like recognizing what your power is, your powers, and really tapping into that gift that you've always had, and just being aware that especially at this time you have a heightened ability to tap into it. So it's a heightened awareness. And like you were saying earlier, City M, we shifted out of the age of Pisces. And you said also the word believe. The affirmation for, Pisces is I believe. And now we're going into Aquarius. Well, we are in Aquarius, and it's I know. So it's going from believing to knowing now,
Absolutely, and blissfully. And I noticed that right now, like, is a good time to start releasing. If you got a video, a brand, or whatever, a book.
I agree.
Right
like
now, it's about that time.
It's a momentum.
It's about that time. I'm telling you, it's about that time, because whatever happens now is going to be crystallized
That's a fact.
and into where we're going. It's wonderful. I like that they get to see the spiritual side of City Sultan again. We did the spiritual evolutionary, but now I feel like we're on a different frequency of it, where we're just like we talk about real self.
Don't let it go over your head. Don't let it go over your head. What he said. He said that whatever you release right now will be crystallized. Hear what we just said. Whatever you release right now will be crystallized, will be actualized, will be seen in real eyes. Real eyes, please. All right. I just don't want that to go over anyone's head, because it's a very real thing. You know what I mean? Like you're getting signs, you're getting symbology. The fact that you're able to even hear us articulate this right now is not a coincidence. It's a coincidence. It's a synchronicity. The fact that King Bliss said that we are experiencing very supernatural things. We're experiencing very super period. Natural, period. It is a very organic thing. You know what I mean? And so it's just, you are coming into an expansion of it. You're coming into a consciousness of what is happening right now, of your presence, of your present essence. It's always a presence, and it's, you know, it's breathing and immersing yourself within the pain of the process. You know, because you know, spiritualism is not all love and light and feel good and yes and I love. Right? Well, it is that, but you have to realize that within love is evolution as well. You know, so there will be times of suffering and uncomfort within that. We're going to keep it because we live on this third dimensional plane. There needs to be a release. You know, and like, you know, King M said, there needs to be a release of that skin, and so coming out of that skin will not be it's a process. It's a process, definitely.
So,
Yo, real quick, I just want to elaborate on all three of y'all. Well, I want to pedal back with City Bliss when you mentioned how people have superpowers. So now, according to it's called 60 Seconds. You could go on YouTube and look it up. But there's actually, it's documented, people that can taste colors, see colors, hear colors.
synesthesia.
Say that again.
Synesthesia. I read about it in my book.
Oh,
Synesthesia.
okay. Now, see, I didn't know the exact terminology.
Kanye got it.
Pharrell too, I believe.
Yeah.
Word?
Ooh, makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Synesthesia.
Yeah, he wrote about it in his book, Power Perception. Get that at Emerald Stone.
Mhm. and real quick, I just want to pedal back a little bit and further elaborate what City Ra and City M said. As far as City Ra, when you mentioned pain, once you said that, there's a Buddhist saying known as pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. And that's a part of my brand. Yeah, you know, so we have to go through this pain in this human experience. I don't care how spiritually evolved one thinks that they are. If you came back here, you came back here to learn more lessons. You know, so with this shift, just like I said, slow it down, have more time for yourself, go into more solitude, take it easy. Don't overexert or overexude your energy. Be real with yourself. If you know you can't make a particular appointment at a particular time, don't say you can make it. Just be real. Be like, yo, you know what? Nah, just try to reschedule. I'm just speaking generally, you know, but it's still stemming from self-realization. And I feel like that's also a part of the Aquarian shift that we're going through, is knowing getting to know thyself more.
See, that's gonna be the commercial right there. That's gonna be the clip right there. You know, I'm always looking for them. That was it right there. That's gonna be it for this episode.
That was it.
I snapped to that. Yeah, that was great.
So,
when he said, I knew he was about to go up when he said, "Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional." I said, yeah, that was
that's
it.
the old Buddhist. Yeah, that I love that one.
That right there. Yeah.
I thought that second you said suffering too.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned
the mind. You know, but moving forward, so we have a question here now. We're getting more into the practical side now. Okay, so we did the whole, you know, spiritual, you know, flow and transition and things like that. But now we're getting into the more practical side of this episode now, where we have this question here. It was put so beautifully. It says, "How do you thrive in the Aquarian shift mentally?" Now, what can you do mentally to thrive in the shift? And I'll start that off if I may. When you're dealing with the mind, you're dealing with a tool, you're dealing with a mechanism, you're dealing with what in the mastermind, a book they call the mastermind, the author calls it the mind machine. And if you look at the mind as a machine, if you look at the mind as something that can be programmed like a computer, if you look at the mind like something that can be altered to make it bend at your will so that you can get what you want, I think that you'll do great in the Aquarian shift. I think you'll do fantastic, but how do we do that practically? Of course, affirmations, through meditation, through practicing our focus and our consistency. If we do this mentally, and constantly work out mentally, constantly learn, continue to learn, get as much information as you possibly can that has something to do with something, not random information, but information that has something to do with building, whether that's information on community, whether that's skill set. All of these things will serve as valuable within this Aquarius shift. Sharpen your mind. Sharpen your mind.
Exercise your mind,
Yeah.
constantly practice and learn new things. I feel it's very powerful. Exercising your mind regularly, and this is something like we all should have been doing, like constantly keeping your mind fresh, up to date, because if you're not learning new things and your mind is pretty much just, it's becoming like it's running like on automatic. But you want to be manual, you want to be steering the wheel, you want to be controlling this, how you're moving through this realm, so best thing to do is just keep your mind up to date, keep upgrading your mind, so to speak. Like it's like a car, a vehicle in a sense, you're not going to be driving around on the same 4 tires for the entire time that you have your vehicle. You're going to bring it to get an oil change, so it's things like that, consistently putting new information, new practices, new ways of thinking, into your mind, into your being, and that I think is definitely important way to thrive in this shift.
Absolutely. And I just had a client today, and friend, and we spoke about the idea of the monkey mind. Another thing that I mentioned in my book, which in Senegal, in West Africa, they speak about it a lot, where the mind is always jumping, swinging from one idea to another idea to another idea. It doesn't know how to focus, and I think right about now it's that time to do the mental exercise of bringing the mind back to the same point. And I think that spiritually speaking, one of the best things that I've seen has been like mantras, that actually help you focus your mind.
Yeah.
Mantras and affirmations or blissformations.
That's I was gonna mention that.
You
Focus.
already know.
Nah,
That.
they literally help you focus your mind, because every time you go out of it, you keep training your mind to come back to the same thought. Every time you go out, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Or
Yo, you reading my mind. No, you reading my mind right now, bro. I swear on everything. You reading my mind.
yeah, every time you go out of it, just straight up, just Nam Myoho Renge Kyo or La ilaha illallah, or you say one of the blissformations that God has given you if you don't have yours yet. So one of those things that keep on bringing you back to a centered state of mind, or concentration with that centered mind. I think that will help you in refining that monkey mind. You know what I mean? And helping yourself grow.
Absolutely.
Yo, that was perfect. Yo, City M is also a psychic. He could read people's minds. He could tap into people's minds. Because I'm dead ass. I was gonna mention blissformation. Yeah, look, I can't let them know. But I was gonna mention the blissformations and the Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And to further elaborate on that, actually today, no BS, I was at work and I'm a tuning fork. We're all tuning forks depending on how aware one is. And your hair is the cosmic antenna towards the universe. But saying that to say, when I was at work today, literally, spirit I just heard Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. So I already knew, put on the mantra. Because Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is also a mantra as well. I put that on and it literally kept me focused for the entire shift. And I put it low too, to where it's not overbearing. It's not really disrupting the immediate vicinity of my workspace, depending on where I'm positioned at. So to where I can hear it. And then I'm already aware and attuned to the frequency. So saying that to say, for example, let's say if someone comes next to me and I have it playing, they probably may not be able to hear it. But since I'm already attuned to it and I know it's playing, I'm aware and know that, hey, this is playing. That's it. And I tap in and tune in. But thank you, City M. I just wanted to add value to that.
Yeah, you know the powerful thing about those City Blue, it's like, and everyone, it's like it's tapping into your subconscious mind, you know.
Yes.
So like what is it, like 95% of the time we're operating from our subconscious
Yes.
mind. So
Yes.
when we're able to consciously put new information into our subconscious mind and then live out those actions, you know, like without even having to think about it, it's like that's that. My words are getting twisted up, but that's where you're operating from, you know. So it's very powerful to be able to use affirmations and mantras to get yourself into a new space of, I guess you could say, like, of awareness and state of being. You know, it's very powerful. So if you're not using affirmations, blissformations, mantras, you know, you start. Now's a great
Yeah.
time to
It's
start.
like, affirmations, chants, mantras, and also like as City Blue said, like definitely binaural beats and frequencies. You know what I mean? You want to find a
Yes.
frequency that you can tune into consistently. You have to find a hertz or frequency. There are plenty. Just type in binaural beats on YouTube, right? Find one that
32,
you attune
528.
to, and every day make it a practice to listen to it for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes. The time doesn't matter. What matters is the consistency to focus yourself on that point. Is
Yes.
what I've learned.
Brothers, I want to share one that I've been listening to recently. 999 hertz.
Ooh.
It's like, yeah, it's a powerful frequency. It's called like the angelic frequency or something like that. I've been listening to a few of them, but one in particular that I found on Apple Music. It's like the only one that's on Apple Music. It's called like 5G Protection 2, I think the name of it is, but the 999 hertz.
Is
And it
that
has
on
like
YouTube?
other sounds playing in there as well. It's not just the frequency, but like
Is that on
natural
YouTube?
sounds. Yeah, you'll find a lot of them on YouTube.
What's
But
the name of it?
That particular
999
one.
hertz.
I know it's only on Apple, right? That
Um,
particular
the one that I'm listening to on Apple is like the only one on there, which is crazy to me. But on YouTube, if you type it in, you'll find like a lot of them. 999 hertz. But I'm gonna show this one on the screen really quick.
And I also want to promote 432 hertz and 528 hertz as 33 hertz, which is
Mhm.
to be the Christ consciousness.
This is
So
how
you
this
said
is how it looks.
432 hertz, five. What else? What's the other hertz?
Can you see that right there?
432, 528, and 33.
Yeah, I see that. 5G Shield 999 hertz.
999 hertz unity.
Yeah, it's sure. It's beautiful. Actually, this is how it sounds.
Got me feeling like I'm in Asia right now,
Bruh.
full lotus.
I've had this playing in the background. Yeah. It's a 17-minute long song. I just loop it.
Mhm, mhm.
Let's put that in the link. We'll put that in the link.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
coming back to the topic though, which is we really never left. The reason that we mention affirmations, the reason that we mention, mantras and things of that nature is because these are some practical ways that the mind can be snapped back into focus. You know,
Yes.
and speaking to my sister earlier today, and we were speaking because here at City Sultan, what we do is that we give you practical knowledge. So if you go back to our last video where we were talking about poverty mindset versus wealthy mindset, this is also the time to change your mindset in terms of poverty mindset versus wealthy mindset. And if you don't know how to do that, you can check the last episode. All of these episodes are something that is to be revisited,
Yeah.
because right about now, the wealthy mindset is definitely necessary. I think more than ever, because of what is going on and just kind of how we see wealth and how we see ourselves in um in existence with it. You know what I mean? And as it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, wealth is how you see yourself. Wealth is I was saying earlier that you can never manifest above your level of self-worth. You know what I mean? Like one of
Oh,
the things,
Say that again, brother. Say that. Say that one.
I
you
like
can
that.
never manifest above your level of self-worth.
Mhm.
You can only manifest a million if you are a million.
yes.
That's a fact. Big facts. Big facts.
Right.
That's the reason why people who get lottery tickets, they may get a million, but it's always gonna come back to that poverty mindset that they are, because the million is not the money. You are the million. Your habits is the million. Your skill set is the million. Your mindset is the million. The money's not the million. So if you get a million, it's always going to come back to who you are and your level of self-worth. You know what I mean? I was reading this book called The Wealth Choice by Dennis Kimbro, The Secret Habits of Black Millionaires. And he was talking about how if you want to see, and it's a hard pill to swallow, but if you want the most accurate picture of your self-worth, look at your bank account.
Mm.
I said,
Mm.
don't do
He
that.
said, I said, damn.
Listen, you gotta get uncomfortable.
I feel better about myself than that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like,
Right.
okay, you know what I mean? You know, and you do better. It challenges you to definitely do better because you're like, you know, I see myself at a different place. And so because if everything is God, then that means that your money is also God. So how are you spending God?
But it should be an investment.
You exercise more mindfulness with that. Once you have that awareness,
it makes you more mindful because you say if everything in this universe is the most high, then money is the money is the most high. It is in a very low vibrational manifestation, but it's the most high. So what am I spending? Like it's like literally money is God. What am I spending my God on? What am I spending my money on? It should always be a self-investment back into the Most High as well.
I think that he should also like because I haven't read it in depth, but I would say it's less about the bank account and it's more about your habits, you know, your spending habits and your state of mind because like I was still the same value without money than I am with money. You know what I mean? Mentally, like I've always saw myself with the same self-worth, same value. It's just the state of mind had changed. You know what I mean? But the feeling of who I was and my value and what I was worth, I still knew what I was worth beyond the physical presentation of the account.
I feel that because one could have a lot of money in their bank account and not feel a level of self-worth in themselves. You know?
ones that inherited.
But it all comes back to how you're using it because let's say I don't have a lot in my bank account. What if I did use all of that for self-investments? You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it's a controversial statement, but it's a statement that allows you to think. It's a statement that allows that dialogue of, you know what, I don't totally agree, but then what do I agree on?
Right. Maybe not necessarily bank account, but as far as like in assets, I guess.
Yeah. So that y'all mentioned assets and bank accounts perfectly segues to the next question. How do you thrive in Aquarian shift economically?
Well, real quick, City M, I actually wanted to further elaborate on how you brought up the poverty mindset versus the wealthy mindset. And
well, this connects to this.
Yeah. So saying that to say, now since we're shifting to the Aquarian age, to step out of your comfort zone by way of not only depending on that employer that provides you with that paycheck every week or bi-weekly. Once again, go into yourself, find your natural, innate, God-given abilities and talents. Let's say if you like to wrap crystals, you know, start a crystal wrapping business or bliss formations of the entrepreneur, you know. So whatever your talent is, start to market that and monetize it as well in the process that you're marketing it, and just basically be more comfortable with yourself and be more comfortable in your abilities with what you have to offer, the services you have to offer to the world. I just wanted to mention that.
That is definitely the beginning of shifting economically too. By first off opening different streams of income. So if you do have a job, 9 to 5, whatever the case is, you still do want to look at if you're that kind of person, look into entrepreneurship. If you're not an entrepreneur, also just look into multiple streams of income because these things, and also in the Aquarian shift, when we're looking at economics, it's very interesting how it rolls because you have the idea of cash is trash, as they've been saying. That you know, in Aquarian shift, things are gonna move more digital. Things are gonna move more into, and it's gonna be very. So this includes Bitcoin. This includes This includes different sorts of cryptocurrency
Mhm.
that you could definitely look toward investing into, like right about now if you haven't, yesterday really. Um, and also you wanna also invest in any sorts of precious metals as well, precious metals. But then even that being gold, silver, you know what I mean, platinum, things of that nature, things that are useful. There's a lot of silver that's used, you know what I mean, to create computer chips and things of that nature. So silver is really
Mhm.
going to be a big asset. You know what I mean? I don't know if it'll ever go past gold, but it definitely be like silver is a really big asset.
Yeah,
Um,
silver is really going up. I'll definitely say invest in cybersecurity as well. You know, we're in the
yes,
midst of the digital revolution. So things like, and also platforms that facilitate, paying online like PayPal. We're not saying, you know, disclaimer, we're not saying invest. We're saying that these are the, the places you should start looking. These are the places that you should start observing. These are the
Mhm.
things that you should start looking at so that you can thrive economically within the Aquarian shift, because we are going from a place of brick and mortar and more to a place of digital. And it's corresponding with how the Aquarian shift is more to spiritual and celestial place, and the digital realm is the invisible. You know what I mean? So we are literally going from the physical into the invisible, not only in um, how we communicate, but then also how we exchange money, exchange currency. Even right now, City Sultan, we're doing this over Zoom right now. Zoom was not a large platform, let's say 2 years ago. You know what I mean? But now we're in a place where it's a normal reality for you to be utilizing these things, for you to be utilizing, audio. Audio has gotten big now. So just start in thinking about how to thrive in the economic. Think a lot more about the invisible.
Mm.
mm,
What you
And
put
look,
to
oh,
use.
go ahead. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead, Rob.
That was the point.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to further elaborate, realistically speaking, as far as being an entrepreneur. Like, so now, supposedly, they're in talks of possibly mandating a vaccine. So now, saying that to say, this is pointing towards the people that are employed. Now, let's say, for instance, if you only have one stream or source of income and your employer is telling you, hey, listen, it's mandated that you get this vaccine. If not, then you cannot work here. What is your next step? What is your plan B? What is your plan C? If you're only just codependent on that one single source of income, I
mm.
think that's unrealistic. Because
Yeah,
once you cut from that, then what do you have? So really start to think about this, because this is real talk.
this
You
is
know what I'm
real.
saying?
Yeah.
This is
It's
real.
like,
Yeah,
yo,
this is real
you
shit.
want to inject yourself with aborted baby fetus, or do you want to work here? It's just like, damn, it's a
Yo,
real question.
yo,
Real talk.
too. So now here's one of the loopholes. You got a stimulus coming. God
Mm-hmm.
willing, inshallah.
Mm-hmm.
Now what's happening is that if if they listen to Trump, Trump is pushing for $2,000. It was going for 600, but Trump is pushing for 2,000. Now, Trump is a very interesting character because he's a Gemini. Because there's parts of me that have seen him and be like, yo, that's fire. Other parts I was like, nah, you out of your mind. You know what I mean? I'm sure everybody can feel a crazy person, and like
Mhm.
he like sometimes what you say makes sense, sometimes it don't make sense.
Yeah,
This is
it's
one of
just
the things. This is one of the things that I agree on. That $2,000 is something that I agree on.
Yeah, right.
Now,
Yeah. And,
now
and, and
Hold
oh,
on.
go
considering
ahead. Go ahead.
considering yeah, I got you. Considering that it is $2,000 and they're hoping they've been calling it the Christmas miracle all over the news.
Mm-hmm.
Considering that it is $2,000, I would suggest for everybody to at least entertain the thought of educating themselves a little bit on the stock market, just a little bit
a
on
lot of it. Why a
precious
little bit?
metals,
Why a little bit? Why a
because
little bit?
Yo,
because
can you
A lot
being
of bit.
realistic?
That's the second
I
time
mean,
I've heard a lot of bit today.
you know why I say a little bit, because who knows what could happen to the stock market? I don't want to just tell everybody to just jump in
The
because
whole
this
thing is
Aquarian shifts. The
like,
most important thing though is to understand investing. Look into the stock market. Doesn't mean you have to put your money in there, but just look at the nature of it. Look how it flows. Look at the consistency of it. That will teach you about money. It'll teach you how to
Cycles.
handle your money. So I remember I don't want to say it out loud, but I know somebody who got a whole lot of money for their unemployment, right? And when they got it, some made it flip, others let it go completely. I remember I called somebody, I was like, yo, bro, you got like 7 bands. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, would you do with that? He's like, oh, I've been spent that, bro. I was like, you out of your mind, bro. I was like, yo,
real talk,
mind.
real talk. That's sad.
You're out of your
It's a
mind.
first judgment. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
all the new clothes.
you see.
I was like, bro.
And real quick, City M, I just want to elaborate on that. Like on a realistic tip, like yo, if you have a family or if you have intentions of having a family, I mean, yes, enjoy your human experience. If you want that designer belt, you want that designer bag, enjoy your human experience, but at the same time, be realistic and think in the long run. Like, yo, can my family benefit from this Louis Vuitton bag or belt?
Listen, at the
How
same
could
time,
my
bro,
bag be an asset?
you can make your entire lifestyle designer. Fuck a belt. You know what I'm saying? You can make
Oh,
your lifestyle. So, I know a woman. Okay, I know a woman. No judgment. I know a woman. A good, very close friend. She got 10 bands, right? What she did with the 10 bands is that she started going on massive vacations. She started going on vacations everywhere. You know what I mean? I'm seeing her in Tula, Mexico. I'm seeing her go everywhere, right? She was going crazy. And I was wondering how she was going on these vacations because she got 10 bands, right? And I said, damn, you know that if you position yourself in the right way and have the right mindset, you could make your lifestyle a vacation.
That's a
Instead of
fact.
having to feel like I have to go on vacation, you could just be a vacation.
You are the vacation.
Like,
So
Exactly.
true.
it
Exactly.
would feel like your business would be that. Your business, shit, you can make a business about facilitating vacations, you know what I mean? And then going on it with them or being a guide or you know, and it's like, it goes back all to mindset, you know what I mean? If you got that opportunity, realize like, you know what? Like I said earlier, instead of getting designer clothes, get a designer life.
Mm.
yeah. Learn how to
That's real
allocate
cool.
your funds. It takes discipline. It takes a lot of willpower too. It
Mhm.
takes a lot of shedding of the
Yeah,
old
bro,
paradigm.
you gotta fight your own emotion, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, it
You
takes
do.
a lot of discipline, like to pay yourself first. I think this is something we touched on in
Yes.
the last episode. Like paying yourself first before you put your money out to everybody else. You get a little, or whatever you get, make sure that you pay yourself first. Invest in yourself. Put a little bit of that aside. You know, to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. So we got.
Thank you for this.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I was gonna say. So we got two more questions here.
Mhm.
We have the here it says, how do you thrive in the Aquarian shift physically now? Like in terms of health, in terms of working out. City Rod, you got your hands up, so I'm gonna choose you.
Next. Next. Next.
How to thrive in the how to thrive in the Aquarian shift physically. You know what I
Get
mean?
it in.
Yo, get it internally,
Really?
right? Focus on a morning routine. Focus on something that you wake up every day and do, right? And and for me, when I get up, I go into push-ups, I go into sit-ups, you can go into burpees. There's so many different exercises that you can do. So instead of me actually going into the different set of exercises, I'm going to say have a set physical routine that you go through, because what you're going to do is because what everybody's so worried about, you know, their health, and it's like, but you're not eating the right way. You know what I mean? You're not
Yeah.
drinking water. You're not eating
Like,
any fruit. What you should do is every
yeah.
week have a set fasting day, and every week have a set fruit day. There
Yes.
should be a day
Mm.
where you're eating an entire day of fruit. There should be a day where you're not eating anything at all. You're just drinking tea. You're just drinking water. And every day you should have a morning routine that you go through a set of qigong, calisthenics, breathing exercises, something to get your, because what you're doing is you're not only going to get your blood circulating, you are, let's say, I know that every day I do 10 push-ups and 20 sit-ups, right? You're already conditioning your mind. You've already gotten 2 goals completed before you've even stepped out of your room or stepped out of your house. So you're creating a spiritual groove of success or momentum that's going to carry you throughout the day.
Mm.
And I'll leave it with that. I'll drop that.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that was beautifully stated, City Ra. And
Love
I just want to elaborate from a meditation perspective and tip. You know, depending on your work schedule, some people work 2 jobs. You know, you probably may do your 9 to 5, then you may do an evening gig or even an overnight gig. But realistically speaking, you know, and if there's more factors involved, let's say if you have kids or if you don't, whatever, if you don't have kids, then you have, I would say, more time. But if you can wake up and do even a 15-minute meditation, or even on your lunch break or your break in general, instead of, you know, scrolling on Instagram or the Snapchats, what else you got, whatever distractions they got. But also these tools can be used for marketing as well. It's the sense of perception and where the mind is. But just take the time to just do a meditation and come back to self. Because once again, right now, as we're shifting, there's so much going on externally that we really have to have a lot more self-care within. You know, so just take it more easy. Like I said, if you could do a 15-minute meditation where you're sitting silently with nothing. If you want to put on meditation sounds, Tibetan singing bowls, nature sounds, whatever floats your boat, or if you just want to just sit in silence to silence the mind for like 10, 15 minutes, I guarantee you it'll be.
And I disagree. I don't feel like, you know, I don't even feel like you need 15 minutes. For some people, that's almost too much time. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
What is important is not the time, is the consistency of it. If you can set aside, if you can't set aside 2 minutes every day, if you can't set aside, realistically speaking, let's say it takes 30 seconds to do 30 push-ups. Get on the floor and do 30 push-ups. Just do that every single day. Do that for 30 days. You know what I mean? You have enough, like, because people are like, I don't have any time to do push-ups. You don't have time to do 10 push-ups. And some people are like, you know what, they're like, Rob, what if I don't feel like doing push-ups, right? There's some days I don't feel like doing push-ups, right? But the reason that you do not feel like doing push-ups, right, is because you are not on the floor. Get your ass on the floor. Because what I do is some days I don't feel like doing push-ups. Right? I'm in my bed. What I do is I roll out the bed, boom, I hit the floor. To get up, I already have to do this. I'm already down here. I might as well, boom. I'm already down here. I already got to do the push-up to get off the floor, so let me crank that out. The reason that you are not doing what you need to do is because you're not getting in position. Ass on the floor and get in position.
Wow.
So get in position. When you get on the floor, you have no choice but to do the push-ups. And that's indicative of life as well, but we're not going to get into that. Get in position.
Get it in. Get it internally. City Rock coming through with that heat. You heard him?
Get in position.
Yo, Ryan, look. Yo, Ryan, it's you right here. Solar plexus, bro. Bringing that divine masculine energy.
Yo, bro. I don't even deserve this shirt right now, man, because it's orange. Rod deserves this shirt, man.
Oh,
yo,
man. I love y'all, man.
Let me tell you something. Solar plexus, sacral, all that. Yo, listen. Rod just put a point that if that went over y'all heads, man, not you guys. I'm just saying anybody listening. But yeah, if that went over your heads, I feel bad for you, man, because getting in position. Get
on the floor.
Getting in position. In life, though.
And like, exactly, you hear it. Don't nah. If you heard it, you heard it.
Period.
You heard it.
All aspects.
Yo, all aspects, yo. But you know, lastly, because that was too much. That was
powerful.
Yo, I appreciate that devil's advocate play too, King Rod. You know that? I appreciate that.
Pure poetry.
And real quick, I love how we can respectfully agree and or disagree with one another and still piece it all together. That's beautiful, yeah. As I say, beautiful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So finally, brothers, finally, dear brothers, we have the last question, which is how do you thrive in the Aquarian shift emotionally?
Hmm.
Hmm. City
Uh,
Bliss. Or
Yeah,
oh,
Blue.
City
you
Bliss.
go
Yeah, City
ahead.
Bliss. Can you speak on that?
Yeah. Emotionally. Um. I
We called you
say,
because you're a Pisces.
yeah.
Maybe because he's bliss too.
And a water.
Even how you said it,
You've
even
been
his voice, he said,
singled out.
"Yo," it's like he put on a sexy voice. He was just like, it's not like he's about to start calling. He was like, emotion.
No. I'd say how to thrive in the Aquarian shift emotionally is being aware of your thoughts. Cause all right, your emotions, the way you're feeling, you want to know why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Most likely it's because of the way you're thinking. So if you want to thrive emotionally, you got to become more aware of the thought patterns that you're in, and gear them towards thoughts that are going to make you feel better, and also being okay with emotions that will be called quote unquote negative, as far as being sad or being angry. Like instead of resisting that pain, which you spoke of, Ron, instead of resisting that pain, embrace it, see how it feels. Don't sit in it, don't become attached to it, but embrace it, become aware of it, don't suppress it, and then from that, it's like you face it and automatically you conquer it. So conquer your emotions. It's like we experience emotions. Our emotions are not us. So when we realize that our
Say that
emotions
again.
are,
Say that one more
we
time.
experience our emotions. They're not us. They're just things that we experience as well as
We
thoughts. You
experience
know,
emotions. Our emotions are not us.
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
You know,
think
they're
about.
fleeting.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bliss.
Yeah, no, you're fine, City. But they're fleeing. So once you realize this, and you realize the power to control your thoughts, which tie into your emotions, then I feel like that's a very good assistance, in thriving emotionally in
You
this age.
know, when I think it was a day when we went to Ox video shoot. I was
Hmm.
talking to it wasn't Bucky, it was Chung,
Yeah.
and, and I think I was talking about how emotions, energy, emotion, lower chakras. I think we mentioned this before,
Hmm.
and then you have your thoughts, higher chakras. They both meet at the heart. So top said that they move, and that's when they become feelings. So just because you
Hmm.
have an emotion, it is not until you give it a thought that it becomes a feeling. So
Hmm.
that emotion that you feel rising up in you, you can give it a different definition depending on where your thought is.
That's true.
You can attach a different
Mm.
thought to it.
Perspective of that emotion, right?
Yeah, and then
So a
it becomes
thought. So
a
it
feeling.
starts from thought. So it's an emotion, and you use your
It's energy.
thought
That's
to
sacral too.
bring to have a perspective
Turns
of
into
the
a
emotion
feeling.
that comes up feeling.
Yes, in the
Mm.
heart. So thoughts, higher chakras, hearts is at the center. Thoughts, higher chakras, emotions, lower chakras.
Know
They come together in conjunction. They become a feeling.
Mm.
Oh, that's dope.
Yo,
Mm.
and I just wanted to further elaborate on City Bliss and City M as far as the emotions is concerned. Acknowledging you're gonna have days to where you may feel like shit, or you may not feel like doing things, or you may just be in, like Bliss said, an angry state of being. But please acknowledge this. Please welcome this, because we are imperfect perfections.
Mm.
No one here is perfect.
Mm.
That to me, that concept is like that's gonna lead you to insanity. And if you ask me, but saying that to say everything is impermanent. So even if one was to sit in any negative emotion, don't bask in it. Do not bask in it, because then it will start to consume you, and you don't want that. But
Yes.
definitely welcome it and definitely acknowledge it and deal with it accordingly.
Mm.
Once you deal with it accordingly, once again, everything is impermanent, and this too shall pass. So,
Mm.
and if you ask me on an energetic level, since we're speaking about emotions, energy, emotion, once you acknowledge that emotion, and however you choose to release that emotion, hopefully in a peaceful manner, hopefully if you got to go to a forest in a park and yell, whatever you got to do, just as long as you don't physically harm no one, but you know, just release that emotion to where it's safe for yourself and where you can honor yourself and be like, yo, you know what? I feel like screaming right now.
You know,
And I'm going to scream.
Bro, I
Lotus
walk
on
down the
blue
street
fire
with
right
that.
now.
it
Lotus is
becomes
on
to a
blue
point of
fire.
blue. Like, I feel like you definitely, to change your emotion, you have to change your physiology as well. That's also something that you can do to change your state. You know what I mean? Like, if you are frowning, then you are sending the neurons and the muscle neurons to your brain that you are sad. But even if you feel sad and you smile, you are sending the actual chemical muscle neurons
Like
to your
everybody
brain
started
that
smiling.
you are in a state of happiness. Just smile.
Transmutation.
You feel that. You actually feel that. You feel that
Transmutation,
transmutation. You feel the transmutation of feeling happy. Change your physiology. Put your shoulders back.
Yeah.
Breathe. Have a deep breath. Shoulders back. Smile. Hey.
You know what's so
That's
powerful
nice.
about that?
You know
Even
what I mean?
witnessing
You
that
jump up, you feel better. You know what I mean? You
causes the same effect.
get up, walk a little, because if we're saying because we all said that energies, emotions, energy and motion, then get in motion to change your physiology.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Change your posture, sit up straighter, smile, put your shoulders back. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you said,
Yo, this
you know what I
position
mean?
right
Make
here,
you change your physiology and make yourself happy with your body.
Starman position, everybody celebrates like
A
this.
different energetic plane. You're putting your arms in a different energetic plane, as opposed to when your arms are low, you're in a lower plane, right?
You like
You
this,
put your hands high. This is the same. That's why you think that you're feeling the exhilaration on a roller coaster because you're going down. You feel the exhilaration on a roller coaster because you have your hands up.
And your body's going up.
Feeling of exhilaration.
Yeah, your body's coming up out of the seat when you're going down too. Like, when you're going down, you're really going up and down at the same time.
Raising your vibration. Right?
Raising your vibration. And you know, I just wanted to hold on. I'm gonna do my city blue. I just wanted to pedal back and further elaborate on what City Blue said. Yeah, City Blue said earlier. He said something about emotion, and he said that you know, sitting with it is very important, because Eckhart Tolle said something very powerful. He said, like, listen, he was like, yo, he said, you get an emotion that you don't like, right? He said, it's okay to delve into it and sit in it. He said, feel it, because it's trying to teach you something. He said that it doesn't mean that you have to follow the thoughts that come with it. Don't follow the thoughts. He said the thoughts will kill you. He said, but if you sit in the feeling and explore it, he said the feeling's not going to kill you. It's going to teach you something. The thoughts will kill you. He said, don't follow the thoughts. He said, but sit in that feeling, sit in that vibration. You know, so that's a very like practical aspect. And also City Blue had mentioned something about perfection, where, you know, as a Virgo, like, that's my MO. Like we love that idea. You know, even, and perfection and purification is always been a very like kind of two-way street for me, because personally, like, you know, Virgo's always trying to purify, so it's always trying to purify as much as it can, so that it can bring this perfect product. It's always editing something out. It's always, that's why they say that we're very like analytical, because we're always seeing like what doesn't fit or was flawed and pushing it out. This balanced Virgo will always just be a pessimist, because they see so much of the things that they don't like, but the job is to literally find it, but then purify it and add the things that do work and build upon that. So the reason I bring that up is because when you mention perfection, you have perfection, the idea of what, like, it's this state of being is just this lofty high state, but no, perfection is also an action. It's an action. You are constantly perfecting something, so you're in a state of perfection. You're constantly working actively to purify, so now you're in a state of perfection. So as long as you're working to purify, to make better, you're in a state of perfection, because you're doing the work that you're sent here to do naturally. So by
Sounds
the
like
end,
definition of
like,
success.
perfection becomes you doing the best you could to refine.
I love how you say perfection is a state. It's not a destination.
Yeah, it's an action, right? It's a state, not a destination. It's a working state.
Ooh, oh, that's a tweet. That's a tweet right there. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Perfection is a state, not a destination. Thank you.
Exactly. It's an ongoing state. It's a state of action.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a process. So you know that it's something that we're constantly doing, especially on City Sultan. Man, we're constantly doing our best to refine ourselves to meet that Sultan ideal. You know,
Yeah.
to meet that state. And you know, with that being said, I appreciate everybody's presence here for today. I think this was a powerful episode. We did add a lot of value.
Yes. Loving the energy, man. Loving the synergistic force.
The way to start off this new
You know, and
world.
I feel like this episode was because we have been coming into the solstice, the SOULSTICE. I feel like this is also an episode. This has been the epitome of a city solstice.
Yes. Oh, City Solstice. I'm gonna put that this
clockwise position. You see, soul.
Yeah.
Solar plexus, third chakra, Manipura, divine masculine yang energy.
Yeah.
The act to act on your will.
Right
there.
Love that.
Yeah, it's all interconnected, baby.
Okay. So without further ado, King Ra, is Akasha feeling ready? High energy.
Feeling ready? Yo, you want me to go out jamming out, or you want the smooth?
Yo, you want us to move? Jam it. Let's jam it out.
Thank you for that, my brother.
Ep.7.
Wow. This has been another episode of City Sultan. I hope you all enjoyed this great conversation tonight as we shift into this new world, you know, that we are here, you know, and it's a beautiful time. Come together and bring our awareness to a collective state, you know, and I appreciate all of your presence and collaborating with you all.
Likewise, brother.
Listeners as well.
Likewise. City salute.
City salute.
Y'all know the vibrations.
Yes. I'm City Bliss.
I'm City Stone.
I'm City Blue.
City Rock. Bless.